Strange winds guide us away from Argimiliar, and we end up in a town with impressive military history and white sandstone that makes the wall glisten even on the darkest and rainiest days. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Elric and the Young Kingdoms. We plan to travel to Argimilar, but the world of Morcock has a mind of its own, and somewhere along the way, we were nearing the border of Filkhar. Perhaps there is too much history here to be brushed off. We will learn about dangerous obsessions of a queen and a long history of wars against overwhelming odds. As always, if there is anything you feel I misrepresented, please let me know and I'll address it in the following video. I source all my information from various RPG books and snippets of lore from the books. If you like the video, please leave a like. It helps the channel gain traction, and consider subscribing if you'd like to show further support. Starting this channel made me get back into doing more art, and the world of Morcock is an endless inspiration. I recently shared a commission from a friend in the YouTube community tab that you can go see. This video includes some more art by me and subscriber submitted content. With this out of the way, let's dive in. We walk on what we think was the path to Argimilar, but strange winds set us off course and we approach the border of what appears to be Filkhar. We walk a while longer and we see a man from a farm near the south border loading up a wagon. There appears to be livestock goods such as wool, hides, and produce such as grains and spices. He asks us where are we headed. We tell him we've lost our path and we walk to get to the nearest city. He says he's going to Raschil, and we can jump on the back of the wagon. We offer him stories in return, and we're traveling north to Raschil. We tell him about Castle Canaloon, about Alarisas, and all we've seen. We understand that Filkhar is the smallest of the southern nations wedged between Lormir and Argimilar. Until 300 years ago, it wasn't a nation at all, just a series of Lormirian counties. Tired of distant rulers who couldn't govern them, a Wako Earl named Raschil did what a lot of tired counties do. Raised his own army and held off Argimilian raiders for 5 years without any help from the crown until he simply declared himself duke. Warmir did not accept that quietly, and what followed was the Battle of Sadhill. 300 Filkharian soldiers dug into a hilltop holding up Argimilian force 3 times their size. This wasn't a heroic stand. Only 100 Filkharians made it out, but Argimilar lost more than 600 men to the superior tactics and discipline of the Filkharians that outclassed them in every way. Raschil took the old Monibanian port of Imerikos, tore it down and rebuilt what would become the capital of Filkhar, Raschil, named for the pale white sandstone with such high concentrated amount of quartz that it shined even on the rainiest and darkest days. Filkhar was born out of that single battle. However, peace didn't come yet. The crown passed hands, and the following rulers had an easier time as the kings of before had worn down their enemies into something akin to a friendship. Warmir had no desire to govern anymore, and today the 2 nations are considered allies. King Jarnet, who was descendant of Raschil, even married an Argimilian princess named Senera to prove there is no ill will left between the 2 bordering nations. The old farmer nods in approval to our stories, and we finally see the White City come into view. Towering docks and beautiful glittering walls that are almost blinding as we get off the wagon. We help the farmer with his load and repay him with some leftover brew from Alarisas and a couple bronzers. We consult the Wakus for a direction and head towards the Waku Inn. Along the way, we see cartwrights fixing up sturdy wagons and barrows for the Waku quarry. We see a smithy with a towering man hammering away, and many other craftsmen such as cobblers and potters. We learn that pottery and culinary are a big pride in Raschil. We head over to the inn and huddle around the corner table buying a round of the wine Raschil takes pride in. We tell stories to whoever listens about our journey, and before long we talk about Castle Canaloon, to which the Wakos murmur about Queen Senera, Jarnet's wife. Turns out when Duke Raschil won his war, He didn't simply take the land, he took two specific treasures of the battlefield who are still in the royal treasury today. There is the banner of Duke Albec, the man we spent an episode following in the footsteps of. It is the battle standard he carried, black silk embroidered with his personal rune and symbol, a lone wolf. When Raschil captured the banner, it effectively meant that Lormir had lost. The second treasure is a bit stranger. A rose interrupts one of the locals. A single white rose cut by Queen Eluard's own hand and given to Raschil as a peace offering once the fighting was over 500 years ago. It had not lost a petal, and it hasn't wilted, and remains in the treasure in a gold-trimmed crystal case, all next to one another in a palace the locals call Prominence. The wine loosened the tongues of the locals, and somewhere alongside the wine, the conversation drifts towards the palace itself. King Jonet's crown wasn't as settled as the calm street suggested. Jonet and Senira had no children, and by Filkharian law, the throne must pass to someone carrying Raschil's own bloodline. The options were between the nephew of the King Jonet, someone the locals didn't think too highly of, and his sister, a much brighter candidate. But rumors had it, she sympathized with chaos, not law. And in a county such as this, these rumors are never taken quite lightly. The royal courts had seemingly tried to find a legal way to hand out the crown to Jonet's bastard son, who, while not having any legal claim, had made a name for himself in the army. But this topic, even now, is sensitive to the locals, and we carry on. What follows now is a lot of township gossip, a lot of rumors about Queen Senera, the wife of Jonet. The locals tell us she became obsessed with the relics and spent all her time visiting the treasures and spending hours after hours walking upon them. She sent emissaries to Lormir to collect every surviving account of Albec, about Eluard, and about Michella, the Dark Lady of Canolin who seems to always pull us back in as soon as we get out of her grips. Senera's marriage to Jonet was not a romantic one. It was mainly politics-driven. The locals tell us that they were distant. Whatever she's looking for in those old stories, she seems to look for something Jonet never gave her. It is Albec that has captured her fascination. We tell the locals she might feel some sort of odd kinship to Queen Eluard and maybe some type of sisterhood with the immortal Michella, the two women, centuries apart, tied to the same man's memory. The king didn't seem to care. He's just glad she has something to be occupied with. While the chancellor was concerned about her dangerous obsession with a 500-year ghost, it would surely grow into something more. The fire seems to settle down around the inn, and we have once again, across many cities, occupied the fascinations of the locals. Though we found out something we didn't know about, and once again we found ourselves chasing Albec Smiths across two nations. We came looking for Argimiliar, and found Filkhar, a nation born out of a single desperate battle, now quietly custodian to two of Lormir's most sacred relics, and queen possessed by endless infatuation with a ghost. Argimiliar is still out there, across the border we were actually supposed to cross. We'll get there next time, assuming the wind wills it. And as always, make sure you subscribe to explore the rest of Moorcock's world with me, and be aware the journey will be long and perilous, and I'll be glad to have you with me.